Hey guys, it's Andrew here, No-Nonsense Financial Coach. I like teachable moments. I use them a lot in like youth group teachings and just in life at home with the kids and stuff. And you look around at the world and you see things that are analogous. Sometimes in nature, sometimes in economics, politics, all that stuff. That's relatable to things in our life like finances. And what I want to do is kind of show you this. I live in and around the Central Valley of California in the U.S. We have lots of mountains with lots of forests. And if you've never heard before, in the summer, California's on fire. Not just because of the temperature, but because we have hundreds of thousands, millions of acres of wildfires. You can kind of see one came through here about a year and a half ago and did a pretty good number. There's some houses around here. But you can see lots of stuff burned, lots of forest, lots of wildlife, and I mean even just looking down at the ground. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy, but it's just kind of a wasteland now. A few things survived. A lot of people don't know this. I'm gonna set you down right here on this burned stump. Right there. Oh, on a stick. What a lot of people don't know is that a lot of these wildfires in California are avoidable, at least to the scale that they burn. Lots of fires happen, lightning strikes, things like that. And in a well-managed forest, it's a lot easier for firefighters to fight those fires. When you get mismanaged forests like we have in California, you end up with, over the course of a couple weeks, something like 500,000 acres burning. And you might even be able to hear chainsaws in the background. There's logging crews here still cutting down dead, burned trees that are a danger to people from a fire that came through here a year and a half ago. I just sort of had the thought of a teachable moment here is sometimes we mismanage our life and our finances like California's mismanaged their forests. You go up into Tahoe and you go to the side of Tahoe that's not in California, and they've got beautiful forests with trees spaced appropriately, proper number of trees per acre. There's lots of growth on the ground. There's animals running everywhere. It looks like something out of a fantasy movie. And the second you cross the border into California, you have overpopulated, overly dense forests that have trees that are dying of rot and fungus and not having enough nutrients because they're all competing with one another, and it's just a mess. And I just kind of wanted to relate that to our finances. Some of us have pretty big messes that are densely populated with credit card payments, and we have a debt to income ratio that's not healthy. And I would maybe compare that to a tree density per acre that's not healthy. I think healthy forests have 150 to 200 trees per acre, and California's got forests with 500 trees per acre. And not only is it not healthy and not thriving, when there's an emergency like a wildfire, it is basically impossible to combat it. You basically just have to step back and let the whole thing burn. And any of you Cal Fire people out here understand that, is you get into rough terrain where there's not good access and you're in between two massive mountains and you can't get a plane in there to make drops. You can't safely send crews in. You just have to let it burn. And some of us get our situations super unhealthy. And when an emergency strikes, when a disaster strikes, there's no combating it. There's no amount of budgeting, there's no amount of side hustling that can get you out of that situation. And that's why I'm here. I know lots of people that just constantly struggle with finances, and it's because they're not maintaining their forests. They're not checking their tree density per acre to make sure that it's healthy. They're not looking for dead and decaying things and removing them. And if that went over your head, let's just put it real. you're maxed out, you're over leveraged, your debt to income ratio is like 1 to 1. Every dollar that you make gets sent out in interest payments. Talking to you, federal government. And we got to do something. You got to start pruning branches. You got to start cutting down the dead stuff. You got to start thinning stuff out, because you are just maxed out, overloaded, stressed so much that you're numb to it. And that's not a good place to be. And I want to encourage you to just, whatever it is that you can do today, do it. You know, you don't need to be spending $20 on lunch if you're broke and you're in debt. You don't need to be going out to $50 and $60 meals if you're broke and in debt. I know we need breaks, but you don't need a $10,000 Disneyland vacation when you are broke and in debt that follows you home on a credit card and you have one more payment to manage. Okay, so I want to encourage you guys, like California needs to manage their forest better. We got to start doing some pruning and some chipping away and some hauling off and some significant chopping, as it were, in our lives. And you can do it. Guys, I've been there. We were there, and it was miserable, and we saw some light. We got some good advice, and we made a plan, and we stuck to it. Not all the time. We weren't perfect, but we had a plan, and we stuck to it as best as we could, and we made it out of that. And I don't view it as a way of bragging, but I'm super proud to be out of debt, because I can look back and see how hard I worked to make it to where I am. And if I can do it, I mean, there's not much going on here, guys. If I can do it, you can do it for sure. So, for dramatic effect, I'll just walk back up here, because there's this really good shot down this path. And I want to ask you, is that the path you want moving forward? A mismanaged, overly populated wildfire of a path? Or do you want something that looks nicer?